Did he forget his meds, or did he not? I guess we'll find out as this video unfolds. I killed for Zordoz comments. I'd love to see Branch Warren any year versus Lee Priest any year. Battle of the short men. Well, Lee Priest and Branch Warren, two fantastic specimens. Look at the conditioning of both men. I think the 2 years are easy. I mean, the 97 Mr. O for Lee Priest and the 2009 Mr. O for Branch Warren. Is that not the most obvious two picks? I believe that the killer guy will be happy with this, I think. Branch, of course, the larger of the two specimens, and perhaps the most conditioned, although that muscle separation, not the best. So really, the conditioning, it's not overwhelming. You have to kind of have the muscle separation as well to have that true fine finish, which Lee Priest simply has in spades. Sure, his legs aren't as big, but they're fine. I mean, they're more than enough for size. So I'd give Lee a slight nod in the front relaxed. Of course, the rear relaxed would be going to Branch Warren. This is where Lee is really going to get hurt. He has soft glutes. That was really his only weak point. No glutes, soft glutes, a little bit soft in the hamstrings. Well, not bad in the hamstrings, really. But Branch Warren has the best glute, hamstring, and calf, just the best lower body from behind. This beats Ronnie Coleman, for sure. Ronnie Coleman's calves were definitely not the best. Branch has it all. Actually, Lee's back is very good here, on a smaller scale, but could be beating Branch Warren's. But Branch Warren's conditioning of those glutes knocks this one out of the park. So we get into the muscularity round with a nice clean sheet here. So ring-a-ding-ding, I suppose, even though this is not a boxing or wrestling match. Lee Priest gets a point in the front double bicep pose. Look at that small little waist and blooms up to those big giant biceps and triceps. Branch Warren looks funny in this one. Those pointy elbows really takes from his aesthetics. He's missing a piece of his right lat. He's just falling apart here. His waistline, his midsection, it sucks in comparison to Lee Priest's. Like a god. His legs are almost too big. I made Branch Warren about the same height. He's a little bit taller here, but he is a couple inches taller. But he usually bends at the knees. And Lee Priest, he always keeps his legs nice and straight. If you notice in comparisons with Sean Ray and other guys a couple inches taller, he's usually visually the same height because he does pull the stunt. But anyway, he gets the all-important first point. The second point, however, is of some debate. It is a hard call to make. It's not a front-on shot of Lee Priest, so you cannot get the feel of his true silhouette, because he does have a fantastic front lat spread, but Branch Warren looks good here too. Not my flavor, but rating it as a bodybuilding physique, it's pretty good. Here's another one of Lee Priest. I don't know. Lee almost looks better in this pose, but it might be just my taste. I really appreciate Lee's physique much better aesthetically, but geez, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. We may have to go back to this one if it is a tie game. I honestly think Lee could beat Branch Warren in this pose. He has that structure, but he never really knew what to do with his legs in this one, and it kind of was awkward. He didn't know how to display it perfectly. But I have to tell you, Lee Priest's chest here, it's world class. And just on the chest alone, maybe the arms, I would give it to Priest. But Branch Warren, his odd-looking arms actually look pretty good in this pose. And the legs, the legs, they do it for me here. The oversized leg bodybuilders, they look good in the side poses. Nothing worse than smaller legs in the side shots. And Lee Priest, mind you, does not have small legs. But Branch looks a little bit too perfect in this one. So he gets a point. Side tricep also goes to Warren. Even though it isn't really fair, you can't see the whole physique of Lee Priest, and this picture is not the best angle. But again, the side shots, Branch Warren looks fantastic in both cases. Display just perfect. And look at the legs, unbeatable. Of course, he has the calves to go along with those quads. Not many people do, like your Dennis Wolfs and your Big Rammies, guys like that. The calves just don't match. They do in Branch Warren's case. Good shot here for Branch. Of course, as we've seen in the rear relaxed position, it would take a miracle of a pose for Lee Priest to ever touch Warren in this rear lat spread, or I'm sure the rear double by. Look at the glutes. Wow. And they talk about the condition of the 90s guys. Huh? Speechless now, aren't they? Anyway, we don't need to get into that. It's not really fair. You can't see the real back development of Lee Priest, but I bet dollars to donuts that it's not a tremendous amount better than Branch Warren's, if it is at all. All right, rear double bicep, and of course Warren does take it. Look at the glutes. My word, look at the hamstrings, and even in the back, the conditioning, the thin skin. But there is an argument for those people that are hard of sight, the blind, or the older people. They don't care about conditioning. They care less because they can't see as well. And the overall flow here of Lee Priest is fantastic. If you ignore the layer of water, look at the arms. And even in the backs, not too bad, not too bad. In 97 for Lee Priest. Never a strong point for the man, but he is from down under after all. Crikey, mate. Anyway, this pose here is a Lee Priest pose. He may be losing in the thigh, of course. But if you are familiar with my judging, you know I do focus more on the abs. And I'm sure if the abs were equal, I would give it to Branch Warren. Of course, his conditioning is better. But when you look at his abs, we can throw conditioning right out the window. He has a big center ab there. It's not abs, it's ab. When you look at Lee Priest, this six-pack is one of the few stomachs that you could stand next to a Sean Ray and actually maybe even beat him as far as just the abs are concerned. He's a little narrow in the chest, I do admit, so Sean may get him on that angle, but my soul, he's blasting Branch Warren out of the whatever. No problem, no problemo. Wow, these two are very similar in this most muscular pose, aside from the arms, of course. Branch has the bigger legs, but I focus more on the upper body and the most muscular. And Lee Priest's arms are making Branch's just look pathetic. Branch not the best arms, like I said earlier, and Lee Priest really capitalizes. Much like Branch did from behind with the weak glutes of Lee Priest and the strong ones, on the contrary, of Branch Warren. So Branch Warren is ahead in this competition. So I said if it was a tie, I would have to have another look at the front lat spread because that was a virtual tie. So I have no choice but to award Branch Warren as your winner of this little competition, even though personally I would much prefer the Lee Priest physique, and I would have loved to see him get better glutes, a little bit better conditioning. But the front, judging by the front, his conditioning was top plus, but like I said, the glutes were a little bit of a problem for him. He could have got branched. No problemo, if you ask me. His aesthetics were 10 times as good. But everybody's is. Branch Warren always wins on just muscles and just conditioning and just, he's a raw piece of wrought iron. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Hit a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day.